Hello and welcome to another episode. Quite often I get asked what are my tips for eco driving to get as much range out of the EV6, and I've left it a whole year before I've made this video so I can pass on what I've learned. Now there are three different ways of doing regen on the EV6. You've got your paddles, which are here, which is I don't really care for because it's too much messing around. You've got the I-pedal mode, which is the one pedal driving mode. I've tested this on long journeys and I've found I'm not getting as much as I should have got. But the mode I personally like and use is Auto Regen. So I've done previous videos on this. I'll put links at the end of the video to link to all the different modes and how you're getting them. But there are some extra settings and some extra driving tips that you may want to know about. First setting, if you click on the car from the first menu and you've got the split screen turned off, press the hamburger, EV settings, Smart Recuperation. I've got it on strong deceleration. The other setting I've got, the car's running in eco mode. That's the drive mode selector. There is a setting within eco mode which you also want to know about, so press setup, vehicle, drive mode, and just make sure the eco mode climate control is ticked. That uses less energy, like a weakened climate mode. So that's all of the settings. Now notice if you put the climate on, you'll see your range decrease instantly. So if I put the AC on, it jumps down from 220 to 178. But the heat doesn't seem to have an impact when you turn that on. So it jumps straight back up immediately to 220. So if you're going to use climate, I'd use it sparingly. What I personally do, I use the heated steering wheel and heated seats in preference. I only really use it climate for demisting when I need to. And some people put little silica bags in to dehumidify the car, and that's one way of saving from having to use climate to dehumidify the car. Right, the other important factor is your driving style and also learning to live with regen. There are certain things you can take advantage when you're driving, and the way you drive. You can also have, if you put the energy usage screen up, press on the car and then the hamburger and then energy information, energy consumption, you'll see if you're getting any regen, that will appear under driving. So you get instant feedback as to how much regen you're getting, so you can see what you're doing is having an impact. I'm going to do a test with Auto Regen with the counter reset, and then I'm going to do the same test driving there and back with I-pedal, so you can see the difference. I mean, I was leaning towards Auto Regen, but doing this test properly, I will try and figure out which is the best. And it's cold outside, it's 4 degrees C, so my projected range is it's gone down a mile since yesterday, so it's 298. The temperature has an effect on the GOM calculation, and also the battery chemistry has an impact. So I'm going to leave that on the screen. Right, I need to get into Auto Regen, so you need to be into drive mode to alter that. So I'm pulling on the right paddle to lower it, that's level 0, and I'm bringing it all the way up. That's I-pedal mode, which I don't want. just pulled on the right hand pedal, so I'm on maximum Auto Regen. So now I'm going to go for it. When I come to speed bumps, I just hit this the speed limit and then let the speed bump slow me down. I call it speed bump surfing. So quite a few down my road, and where I'm going to take this, I've actually gained a 0.1 of a mile per kilowatt hour whilst going over some of these, if you catch it right. You can't see it yet because GOM hasn't calculated. So I'm going to do a local route, which is 30 mile an hour, and then I'm going to go to a 60 mile an hour road, and then I'm going to come back. It's exactly the same route, so it's the same weather, same temperatures outside, and the same route. Notice the economy meter. If you take your foot off, that goes back up. The average is down the bottom in the corner there. And you can tell it's winterish, so values are pretty low. Well, they are in Auto Regen mode anyway. And we're up to 4.4, 3.7. Now these bits are mostly flat and there's a bit of downhill and mixed, so it's probably a good test. The key to getting good economy is smooth and sort of easy acceleration, not just dropping the accelerator all the time. The easier you are, the better the economy is going to be. But it's measurable by what this economy meter is doing here. Line, kind of turquoise line, light blue line, and it's time to surf some more speed bumps. Got the heated steering wheel on. It's not that bad in the car, and the windscreen's clear, so I don't have to mess with the climate. And we're up to 4.6, and right, well, we've crossed the traffic lights and we're carried on across, and it's another slow zone. Right, so we've done 30 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour. And this goes up to 30, and then there's a 60 stretch, and then return. Notice my economy meter was almost on the 8 for all of that. So the slower the average speed, the better your range is going to be. And we're in the 30 zone. We're up to 5 miles per kilowatt hour. 5.3. I did this test yesterday but cocked it up, so I'm doing it again today, and I'm doing so much better today. I think I'm better prepared as well. It's actually slightly warmer yesterday, 6 or something. and it's gone up to 5 now because we've come downhill a bit. Also notice in the binnacle when you're easing off the accelerator, you get the blue regen line comes down as well as there. So you've got your data you're in 3 different places. Your energy usage, negative energy usage if it's regen, your average miles per kilowatt hour, the economy meter, and also that graphic there. And this is where we join the A5 and we speed up a bit. Well, and we're up to a 50 mile an hour one, so I'll get up to 50, gently accelerate. Speed limit's going up. It says 70 now, so I'm still going to stick to 60 because that's a more economic speed than 70. But I might actually come to the island before I reach 60 because I'm gently accelerating. Anyway, as we get close to the cars in front, the radar will detect the cars, and then, I don't know, you might see it on the graphic, or maybe you only see it in cruise control mode. And we've got to go back around the island, and then that's the halfway point. Anyway, I'll stop recording now, and then I'll catch up when I'm back after this run. Right, I'm back after my Auto Regen test, and we've scored 3.6 miles to kilowatt hour. And I'll look up on the phone, but I have to lock the car and turn the car off to reset the trip meter, and also to send the data to the app. Right, you've got to be in drive mode to enable iPedal. Pull to turn off auto hold, or is it? Pull the other side. There we are. iPedal's enabled. One thing I've noticed about iPedal is it's not persistent. It doesn't stay on if you leave it set. It's one of the disadvantages. And also, if you switch into reverse whilst you're in iPedal mode, it switches it back off. So be aware of that. It happened to me yesterday when I was trying to do this trial, and failed because I came back without realising iPedal was off. So here we go again. So immediately I can feel the regen is there in iPedal mode as soon as you take your foot off the accelerator. so it's doing a lot more. Heat steering wheel again, because I had it on before, but it's cold as well, so that helps. These test runs you can't really consider them scientific, because you really need a test track with controlled conditions. You've got variable traffic and my variable speed, and I'm not doing enough runs to make it repeatable, so it's only my estimation, really a guess. I've already gained more going down the hill, I think, already, so there's no car in the way this time. And actually sail round, and I'm already higher than I was, I think. .4. I think that's higher than I was on the Auto Regen. When I drove to Wales in September to Llandudno, I tried it there and I tried it on the way back, and whilst I did pretty well on the way, there's lots of downhill. Coming back, I found iPedal was useless. It was losing me a lot of gone miles, and I even had to charge on the way back. So I've got a feeling that this is going to come out with iPedal being good for local and Auto Regen being better on motorways and higher speed roads. That's my gut feeling anyway. Anyway, speed bump surfing time again. We're already up to 5.7. I think maybe the local always stopping and starting is helping the regen be higher, so you're getting better economy, whereas on the motorway you're just going straight and pretty fast. So going faster is less economy, and having nothing to regen against is probably another issue. I mean, it's supposed to detect when you're going uphill and then pull the regen off according to the manual, but I think coming back from Wales in September it wasn't doing it properly or effectively. It's bonkers. I'm already up to 6.5 miles a kilowatt hour. .2. Well, looks like I'm going straight over the lights. .5. A little bit of uphill. And then we've got this 20 zone by the school, which probably works in its favour. I notice it's quite sluggish to pull away in iPedal mode compared to Auto Regen mode. That's probably the downside, but if you want your economy, you want your economy, so you can take your pick of which method to use, and it's your choice really. At least it's not set in stone. You can just turn it on or off, or you can switch to sport mode if you want sport mode. Back up to 6.3. So far, well, it was a solid 6 and I've lost a bit now. Anyway, back onto the A5. Up to 6.4. As I pulled up behind that car, it gave me 7, so I'm currently on 7. And now we're in a 50. Gently accelerate up, and then we're in a national speed limit once the 50's out of the way, and then I have traffic this time, so this run will be slightly slower probably. All the same, still above 5 miles a kilowatt hour, which is pretty damn good. And we're down to the island again. I'll stop the camera for now and I'll pick up and see how we did on the way back, if I can get anything over the speed bumps. Oh, I've lost one that time. Back up to 4.1. And this is the last one. Well, my conclusion. We managed to do the same average mileage, roughly. On the average speed was 27 and the top speed was 52, and the distance was 8 miles. And then on the other run, the top speed was 53 and the average speed was 27 again. And again 8 miles, so that's probably good that they all line up. As I said earlier, iPedal beats Auto Regen by half a mile per kilowatt hour. So iPedal was 4.1 versus the previous run on Auto Regen, which is 3.6. As again, I've said this isn't scientific unless you're on a test track and can repeat these results over and over again, but I've got no facility to do that. So, as I've said, before. I tested iPedal on holiday to Llandudno in September. Going there it was fine, but coming back with all the hills it was just a drag, and also the driving characteristics of the car changed quite a lot, and you really feel the regen dragging, so it didn't seem to work on the way back because it's probably more hilly, but it's supposed to be able to cope with it, but it didn't. So my recommendation to keep your 300-mile range or as close to us is all the other things I've mentioned, plus for local drive iPedal, for 60-mile-an-hour plus roads do Auto Regen. Anyway, I hope you find this has been useful, and thank you for watching.